Welcome back to VNN as we continue our coverage of the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Kenley. I'm Jean Meserve, live from VNN headquarters in Washington, D.C. It has been nearly 3 days since Hurricane Kenley came barreling ashore on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. 3 days of mounting losses. The storm tore its way up the eastern seaboard. Its 20-foot storm surges and 120-mile-per-hour winds wreaking havoc from the Carolinas to Long Island to the New England coast. When Kenley finally made its way inland in Connecticut, its force diminished and it was downgraded to a tropical storm, but that wasn't the end of Kenley. The system dumped more than 14 inches of rain on most of New England, and now severe flooding has completely submerged many communities. We have new statistics and data about this killer storm, and the numbers and facts are stunning. The human toll continues to rise. 8,040 people are confirmed dead, with 1,120 still unaccounted for. Some who have survived are in dire straits. Nearly 2 million people need medical care, emergency shelter, and/or housing. 10 million people are still without power and communications networks. Rhode Island has now become the 13th state to declare a state of emergency. The president has approved all states' requests, and they are now getting federal assistance, everything from boots-on-the-ground medical support to shelter assistance to search and rescue coordination. And pause for just a minute to absorb this. No event in American history has demanded as many resources. Officials say the federal response to this disaster is unprecedented. The breadth of devastation and catastrophic impact of this storm will likely eclipse Hurricane Katrina. Kenley has torn up vast stretches of the eastern seaboard, and inland the drenching rains have put much of New England in jeopardy, and it is difficult to imagine how any nation, even the United States, can be prepared to deal with something of Kenley's magnitude. Joining us now on the phone, we have Dr. Sienna Mills of the American Disaster Response Coalition. Dr. Mills, if people living in affected areas are able to pitch in and help with the relief effort, how do they do that? Oh, hold on just a minute. Excuse me, Dr. Mills, we're going to have to wait for just a moment. I'm told by the control room that we have some breaking news, a situation in Puerto Rico. According to our control room, VNN correspondents are reporting that an earthquake hit moments ago. This is early. We don't have confirmed information, but the epicenter, early reporting says, is about 70 miles northeast of San Juan. That's the capital of Puerto Rico. My recollection of the maps tell me that that would put it on the Bunce Fault Line. That's a line that runs deep under the waters of Atlantic near Puerto Rico. Now, we do have some reports coming in from VNN correspondent Rafael Mendoza, who's on the ground in San Juan. Most of communications, I'm told, have been knocked out by the quake, but Rafael was able to reach us with SMS text messaging until around 6:55 this evening when his mobile network apparently went down. His messages, and we're going to put them up on the screen so you can see them, they give us a graphic and frankly terrifying account of the quake hitting, the devastation it caused, and warnings that have now been issued about a potential tsunami. We're, of course, trying to reestablish contact with Rafael to bring you more on-the-ground coverage via satellite phone. Until then, our thoughts and prayers are with him and with everyone in Puerto Rico and the surrounding islands who are in the middle of yet another unfolding disaster. Now, just before his last message to VNN headquarters, Rafael texted this brief video clip from San Juan. This was just minutes after the earthquake struck. Let's take a look. As Rafael mentioned before his communications were cut off, the big fear now is that this earthquake will trigger a tsunami. Experts from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have identified the potential tsunami impact areas you see here. Please, if you are in any of these red shaded areas and you can still see this broadcast, please move away from the coastline. Get to the highest ground you can find and do it quickly as you possibly can. Tsunami waves move fast, very fast, typically several hundreds of miles per hour. Again, we cannot stress this enough. If you are on the coast in any of these areas which could be hit by a tsunami, move to higher ground. Get away from the coastline now. We're going to take a short break to collect more information. When we come back, we'll be speaking with a representative from the American Red Cross about these now twin tragedies, an earthquake in Puerto Rico and the ongoing and unprecedented effort to help East Coast communities cope with the devastation of Hurricane Kenley.